Hello everyone, welcome to Indian Economy by Aman Soni. In today's news hour, shall be discussing the important articles related to economy from the Hindu newspaper. In page 1 itself, there is a news about increase in GST collections. For the first time, the GST revenue collections in a month have crossed the 1.5 lakh crore and it has reached to 1.67 lakh crores. It has happened because of various reasons. And compared to last year, the increase on goods year on year basis was almost by 30%. So compared to last year, the GST year on year on a month basis for the goods increased by 30%, and for services and the import of services it increased by 17%. So what does this imply? This implies that the economy is recovering at a much faster rate, and also it could mean that because the GST on import of goods is higher than last year by almost 30%, and even on service imports it has been increasing tremendously, it means that the GST increase is because of the increase in GST collection from the imports, that is GST imposed on the import of goods and services. The domestic economy still might be suffering, we never know. So only when we separate the figures for domestic economy and the goods and services of GST which are imported, only then we will get the true picture. And for prelims, the important aspect is we can get a statement question saying that the GST collections have been continuously increasing. No, there have been fluctuations here, so the trend is not continuously increasing. It is wrong. And experts have said various reasons for the increase in the GST, and one of the main reasons is because of the increase in inflation. Because of the Russia-Ukraine conflict, the oil prices have increased. When the edible oil prices and the crude oil prices have increased, the cost of transportation increases. So that will have repercussions on all the whole supply chain, and that will increase the cost of inputs, and the raw material costs are also increasing. So when the input costs are higher, obviously the end product price, the final product price also would be higher. Now because of the increased input cost and the final product prices being higher, any percentage on the increased cost would mean that higher GST. So one of the reasons is increase in the input costs and retail prices, and the other reason being tighter input credit norms. Earlier what used to happen, few of the people used to generate fake bills and various scams in which they used to give fake input credit claims, and they used to cheat the government and take input credit claims. Now the government has heavily curtailed all those, and now because of the reduction in input credit given to the suppliers, again the final GST rate collection has shown an increase. And now currently for the implementation of the GSTR 2B, so only when the supplier also files the return, the recipient of the goods would be given an input credit. Earlier, even though your supplier pays or not pays he files or not files the GSTR, still you would get an input credit. Now because of implementation of GSTR 2B, when the supplier files a sale from his portal, that would be reflected in the GST portal, and now you can open your login ID and there you can claim the input credit. So that is why, as to a certain extent, the scams which are taking place in the input credit and fake generation of bills and input credits, that has been avoided. And also the GST compensation cess which the central government has to give to the states, that has also grew by almost 13 percentage points. But this cess which the government collects on the import of goods, that has declined by almost 8.9%. There is also another news on page 1 itself regarding the eShram portal. What is this eShram portal? The Labour and Employment Ministry had launched the eShram portal to register all the unorganized sector employees. In our country there are almost 38 crores of unorganized sector workers, and currently out of them 27 crores of workers are already registered on the eShram portal. And the main aim of this portal is to create a national database of all the unorganized sector workers, and when we have a database, it will help us in easily transferring benefits, direct benefit transfer of amount, and any losses, and now currently the insurance claims to the unorganized sector workers. So we could create a national database, and using the national database we can facilitate the transfer of social security schemes and benefits to the workers. And also part of the scheme, the government had then told that all the workers who register would be eligible for the 2 lakh accident insurance. The accident insurance is part of the currently existing scheme called the Pradhan Mantri Suraksha Bima Yojana. So now what the government has done, it has linked the Pradhan Mantri Suraksha Bima Yojana to the e-Shram portal. So now through the e-Shram portal, a person who goes through an accident, he can claim it through the e-Shram portal, and the amount from the Pradhan Mantri Suraksha Bima Yojana would be directly transferred to the worker's bank account. And this is possible because the e-Shram portal has a unique ID number for the all the unorganized sector workers. And even in the budget speech, the finance minister has said that the government is looking to link various portals, that is the National Career Service Portal, the e-Shram Udyam. e-Shram Udyam is where those who are interested in starting MSMEs, and ASEEM portal. ASEEM portal is Atmanirbhar Skilled Employee Employer Mapping. So it will map the employer and the employee. It will bring together the employee and the employer. The employee can register himself on the ASEEM portal. He can list out all the skills that he has, and the employer would list out all the skills that he needs. So this is just like a LinkedIn. For example, it is like the LinkedIn which brings the employees and employees together to get the right job profile. So this ASEEM portal also works in a similar manner. Now linking the National Career Service with the e-Shram portal means that now the workers can easily register on the National Career Service portal, and they can look for better opportunities through the National Career Service portal. This article is about the jute industry in West Bengal. Recently, the jute industry is going through crisis. And what is the crisis? In India, the jute producing states are Assam, Tripura, Odisha and Bihar. And currently what happened was, the government recently gave a notification saying that the selling price of the jute which is processed cannot be more than 6,500 rupees per quintal, because of which various jute mills they experienced losses and certain jute mills got closed. And jute industry is one such industry which is extensively labor intensive and which will employ so many people, and any losses in the jute mills would directly have an impact on those people and the poverty, malnutrition and the repercussions. So what used to happen? The jute millers, they don't directly procure from the farmers. They will procure through the middlemen. So when the middlemen procure from the farmers, they would charge the jute millers for various costs. For example, procuring the jute from the farmers, then the middlemen have to grade it into different grades, grade A, grade B, based on the quality. Then all the jute had to be baled, that is they have to make into bundles. So all this involve cost. So the middlemen used to charge some commissions for the jute mills, and they would provide the jute by acquiring it through from the farmers and providing it to the jute mills. So what used to happen? On one side there are increased cost for middlemen. On the other side, the government has fixed MSP for raw jute, which is 4,750 per quintal for the 2022-23 season. So what used to happen? Adding to this MSP, all the costs of transportation and the middleman charges and commissions, the cost when it reaches the factory gate for the mill, that used to come to almost 7,200 per quintal, which is 700 rupees more than the prescribed limit that the government has imposed, saying that you cannot sell more than 6,500. So here you can see, when the cost of the jute bale at the factory gate itself is 7,200 and the mill has to incur all the processing, then the mill will have additional cost, and the selling price is less than the cost that the mill is incurring. So any processing taken by the mill would mean that directly they are incurring a loss. That is why various mills went into losses and few of them also closed. And one of the reasons was also that all the supply chain they went for hoarding, even though there are various schemes for dehoarding by the government. but without the systematic regulation it won't happen. And these are the demand side effects. There is also supply side effect. And what are the supply side effect? If you remember, last year we had a cyclone called Amphan, which majorly impacted the West Bengal, Jharkhand and the eastern coast. Because of the cyclone Amphan and the subsequent rains, the jute production got affected, and subsequently the farmers planted less jute, which is called lower acreage. The area that jute cultivation was taking place, it got reduced, and because of low acreage, the cyclone Amphan and the rain, the production got impacted and the yield was low. And also what happened, because of all these factors, the quality of jute was also low. On one hand, the yield is reducing, production is reducing. On the other hand, the quality of the jute fiber itself is reducing because of water logging in the fields, which was caused because of heavy rains. And farmers had to harvest the crop prematurely. Because of premature harvesting, again it impacted the quality of jute. And adding to all these acreage issues, the low yield, low production, water logging in the fields, lower quality of jute fiber, at all the levels of supply chain, right from the farmers to traders, everyone started hoarding. Now because of hoarding, the demand in the market was more than the supply, because there was hoarding, and supply was also less because of less production. So obviously the prices of jute increased and the cost of production increased. But because the government has put a maximum ceiling on the selling price, now any processing which the factory takes, it directly incurs a loss. Now what is the importance of jute? Where is jute majorly used? Jute is majorly used in packaging. There is an act called Jute Packaging Material Act 1987, where the government makes compulsory that 100% of production of food grains and 20% of sugar bags, the bags have to be made out of jute. So the food grain packaging and the 20% of sugar packaging, it is to be made out of the jute bags. And the remaining jute, which will be used in manufacturing other products like the fashion accessories, floorings, furnishing materials, are also used in paper and textile industries, and the usage in those industries reduced to 9.7%, whereas the sacks used in packaging, it increased from 67% to almost 78%. And crucial points important for prelims are: India is the largest producer of jute. Bangladesh is the largest exporter of jute. I repeat again, India is the largest producer of jute, and because of low quality jute that we produce and because of high demand itself in the country, where we have mandated that so much of food grains and sugar, they have to be packed in the jute itself, we cannot export, we in fact import. That is why India is the largest producer, but Bangladesh has a higher quality jute. When the country got divided during the partition, the major jute producing areas went into Bangladesh. That is why there is higher quality jute which is suitable for Bangladesh's geographical conditions, because of which Bangladesh is the largest exporter, India is the largest producer. And various problems are faced by the jute industries. Those are infrastructural problems, then problems related to farm mechanization, because of the small land holdings, we are not able to go for heavy mechanization, and lack of availability of certified seeds, lack of availability of proper varieties of jute. And the jute acreage, that is the production area that the jute is planted in, that acreage also competes with the paddy, maize, groundnut and sesame seeds, because in the Ganga fertile region, people would see which crop will give me more price, so they would want to go for paddy, maize and groundnut as compared to jute. And in the market now, because of the technology, there are various synthetic substitutes available for jute, because of which the jute industry gets affected again. And Bangladesh, adding to the higher quality jute it also has, which is geographically it is beneficial for Bangladesh. Bangladesh also provide cash subsidies for semi-finished and finished jute products. That is why Bangladesh can export higher than India. So what is the importance of jute industry? As we have discussed again, jute industry provides direct employment to almost 3.7 lakh workers. and the livelihood of almost 40 lakh farm families are dependent on jute. So the closure of mills because of the mismatch in cost price and selling price and loss incurring by the mills would directly have an impact on this 40 lakh farm families, and especially they are situated in a region of Bengal, Bihar, Assam, where the poverty incidence is already higher. So that is why the jute industry is a very important industry when it comes to curtailing the poverty and in providing income to the farm families. Here we don't need to go into the details of this article. The basic idea being that earlier there used to be an inverse relationship between income levels and fertility. That is, the economic theory was that the higher the income that a woman is earning, she won't be able to go for motherhood because the woman would think in terms of the opportunity cost, that the income that she is going to lose when she goes for maternity leave, and the fertility rate, that is the number of children that a woman can bear, that used to get impacted. Now because of the change in working situation, change in societal thinking, the maternity benefits are provided. Even maternity benefits are provided to husbands in various countries. Because of all that, now the inverse relationship is in fact changing, and it has become a direct relationship, and in some places it has reversed. That is, with the higher income levels, the fertility is also increasing. Even the women who are in working age, they are also going for maternity leaves, they are also thinking of parenthood. And with the emerging new concepts like the gig economy, even a person who is staying at home can be productively employed. So that's about this research. Here in the MoneyWise page, these articles are technical in nature and related to finance, not important for the exam, so you can skip them. These are the articles related to economy today. Thank you so much.